everybody. And it is a good morning here on United People's TV. Sam here. The morning after the night before. United beating Crystal Palace 3-0. Is United beating Crystal Palace to be on an end all? No. Is it proved that we're back? No. But I tell you what, it's been a long time. I can't actually remember. Genuinely, I can't remember. A long time since I feel I can come into a show like this and can be comprehensively positive about every player that played there, about how Manchester United played, about all the rotation from Erik Ten Hag, the youth players, Garnacho, everywhere. There are just positives, positives, positives. And after the few weeks that we've had, we needed that as a club. But we're going to run through that game against Crystal Palace in more detail here live as a community this morning. I'm going to answer your questions. You fire them in throughout the whole show. It's interactive. You know that by now. There's loads to talk about. Amrabat, Casiemiro, Mason Mount coming back, Garnacho getting his first goal of the season, Martial impressing, geez, even Maguire impressing, Pelistri with ball carrying. I tell you what, it's going to be a really cracking show. Loads and loads of good things to talk about and positives that we can take forward. Unless your name is, I'm not going to engage in the trolls. Sometimes I do. It's just because I laugh at them. I laugh that people can have that much energy. It's hilariously negative. Anyway, who's down here from the member gang? Let's have a look. Linda Knight, good morning to you. Gren, we've got Sibusiso. We've got On-Field Anthony. We've got Poz, Kelechi, Paula, Doe, good morning to all of you. Natasha, good morning to you. And I can see you there. Josh, you're there as well. Kieran, Reggio. Who's on Facebook? We've got Chris Hall. We've got Injar, Lomson, Shane Wheeler. We've got you. We've got Lisa Jensen. Good morning to all of you. And look, whatever was in that barbecue at the weekend, right? I don't know whether he cooked up some sausages, did some nice sirloin steaks. God knows what it was. But we need a barbecue every weekend. I'm not sure if you saw the reports came out from, I think it was Chris Wheeler from the Daily Mail, that Erik Ten Hag organised a barbecue at Carrington over the weekend for like friends and probably just family members for the squad. so it was cooked up there at the weekend. From now on, every single weekend, it's a barbecue at Carrington. I feel like it should be like someone else taking over cooking every single time. Don't know. Get Casiemiro in there, get the Brazilian swaz. Love a good barbecue. Who doesn't? Vegetarians, I suppose. You can have a mushroom, though. Anyway, let's speak about the performance. You fire in your comments about anything. I'm going to run through it player after player and sort of talking point after talking point. But my main talking point from that game is not focused on an individual. It's not focused on Amrabat or Casemiro. It is an overall feeling of that team performance that you saw there against Crystal Palace. Should we be beating Crystal Palace at home? Yes, we should. Should we be beating Crystal Palace even though we've made 7 changes and Crystal Palace have made changes? Yes, we absolutely should. But given how Manchester United have been playing, I said this, and I've stood by it, and I'll say it now again. Manchester United, the Burnley game at the weekend was we just needed to beat Burnley by hook or by crook or however we did it. Just get the 3 points against Burnley. And that's exactly what happened. Burnley game was not special whatsoever. I think Burnley finished with like 75% possession, but we were defensively resolute. It's clear that Ten Hag went there and said, do not concede. This is a game where our defense shows their mettle. And they did. Beat Burnley 1-0. Then we go into the game against Crystal Palace, and I said it in the build-up to the game, said, look, that Burnley game, it stopped the rot. It changed. It was kind of a handbrake. It wasn't really a shift in direction. It was just a handbrake to stop the floodgates, if you want to call it that. That game against Crystal Palace, I was expecting more. I said, it's Manchester United at home against Crystal Palace in the League Cup. We absolutely have to put in a bit of a performance here. And that is what that team did. 7 changes, by the way. Erik Ten Hag rotated. Bruno Fernandes got a rest. Bruno Fernandes got a rest. Can we just imagine that? Like a full 90 minutes where he sat on the bench and he watched and he wasn't injured. Thank God for that. I'm going to see what you're saying down here in the comments. But look, this is what Erik Ten Hag said. He said, look, could the evening have been better? Don't know. It was a good evening. Dominated the game, made good attacks, control of possession, had chances, scored some good goals. And he said this, and this is exactly what I was just saying there about how the Burnley game was exactly what it needed to be and how that Palace game was too. Because it was a good night. As you said, I think we played quite well and dominated the game. That's what we were looking for. It's from Ten Hag, of course. But I also said disappointment and frustration from the losses. But the mood is then dropping. The spirit was always good. Togetherness was there. And you could see that today. We make a step forward against Burnley in how we defend, how we do that. And togetherness today on the ball, we make another step. So still a lot to come, but we are making progress and we are moving forward. And that's what these two games have been. The game against Burnley was, well, thank God we're not losing anymore. Defense was all right. And that's kind of the main takeaway from Burnley. And then the Palace game, we had that togetherness on the ball. We make another step. It's another step on the ladder. People expected. I don't know. I don't know whether it's just realistic expectations or people just enjoy moaning and complaining. I think there's a bit of both. I'll be honest. But that's what this was. Burnley was one step up. Palace is another step up. The next step up is doing that exact same performance, but in the Premier League. Another step up. People expect United to go from level 1 to level 10 overnight immediately. And we were down in the dumps before that Burnley game. So now the level up is doing that exact same performance there that we saw against Palace and doing it against Palace again at Old Trafford on Saturday. They'll have a stronger team. We should on paper have a stronger team as well. But that performance has to be repeated. The United have now set the benchmark for themselves. I think we've just seen down here as well. We've got Calvin coming down and setting the benchmark from everyone else as well. Gifting 5 memberships. Thank you so much, Calvin. Jeez. Everyone say thanks, Calvin. Try not to say Calvin Klein. It's kind of hard. There's a couple of super chats there. Let me read these out. Let me go back to that photo there. It was a proper team performance, wasn't it? Guy, you're saying surprising to see how Martial looks at the moment. I mean, also Munich, the body language, positive reaction to competition from Højlund. Martial's not had a positive reaction to competition at any point really in his United career. When Ibrahimovic came in, I think he was just angry he took his number 9 shirt. But he's reacted adversely to competition. But he looked very sharp against Munich and he looked good there. And I said it in my match reaction. I'll speak about Martial a little bit later on. I was like, am I going to let myself get sort of sucked into it again? Am I? I might do, because it was a really good goal. Spence, you're saying we've gone from 0 midfield options to now facing selection headaches. Casemiro, Amrabat, Mount, Hannibal, Bruno haven't even got Mainu back in yet. And Dangor coming off the bench and making his debut. And he looked fine. It's good to see. Perfect situation to bring a youngster in was last night. 3-0 up. League Cup. At home. That's the environment that you want to bring it in. And Ryan, you've left a really good chat there as a member. And that's what it was. Everyone keeps saying, and again, I think this is just ignorance or stupidity. Oh, what is Ten Hag's identity? Oh, this or that. You know exactly what it is. It's just we've not been doing it. Right there. Man United controlling the game of football. Man United with patient build-up possession. Man United with aggressive pressing when we lose possession. Man United as a team collective when we lose possession. Front to back. Man to man. The identity of Ten Hag is so simple to explain. And people just seem to pretend that he doesn't have one. Because United are playing crap. That right there was a bit like, do you remember Spurs last season? I had that in my head as a blueprint of what this Ten Hag team should and could be in the Premier League. I still probably will hold that up as probably the best example of it. But that there last night, with 7 changes as well, was a really, really good team performance. And now we get to speak about the individuals, right? And now we get to speak about, in my opinion, the individual. Now, been waiting for Amrabat. We've all been waiting for Amrabat. First of all, just imagine if this bloke was fit for the first game of the season. That's quite sad. Second of all, he's fit enough to play, what was it, 60 minutes? How much did he play yesterday? Can't remember. I think it was about 60 minutes. Amrabat came in at left back, and my word, did he look good. Did he look good? It's almost, I know, bombshell. Everybody sit down, all right? It's almost like Manchester United have been missing a build-up first phase midfielder who wants to show for the ball. I mean, how many times do you have to say it? I don't know. Quite a lot, apparently. That right there, that's what Ten Hag wanted from day one at Manchester United with Frenkie de Jong. We didn't get him. We got Casiemiro. Completely different profile of midfielder. Class as he is. And yesterday was definitely his best performance of the season. We'll speak about Casemiro next. It's not hard. If you don't understand Ten Hag's identity, then you won't understand the importance of a player like Amrabat. Somebody who just shows himself for the ball. That's the main thing he did the whole game. Anytime United were in possession, instead of sort of running away, he ran into space. Give me the ball. I'm over here. Give me the ball. He's now in central midfield. I'm over here. Give me the ball. I'm at left back. Give me the ball. He was everywhere. He constantly asked for the ball. 96% of his passes he completed. Those long diagonals. And then Casiemiro was like, "Oh, you can do those." He goes, "All right, okay. I'll do them as well." 92 touches. See, yeah, it was the 60th minute he did come off. Of course it was. It was Dan Gore. Amrabat is the missing piece. A player of his profile has always been the missing piece. And that's why I do think that Ten Hag made a slight error this summer. It should have been that Manchester United went aggressively and signed a player like Amrabat early in the window, and we should have been signing a player like Mason Mount on transfer deadline day. Now, maybe United were just worried that we weren't going to be able to sign Mason Mount because of interest from Liverpool and other teams too. But that was the player that we needed for the first game of the season. And it was no surprise to see that he changed, because it just allowed United to, I've told you, just recycle possession. Be patient. And I tell you what, we were clinical when we got the chance as well. Delo giving it through to Garnacho, the first real chance we had, and we scored a goal. What did you make of his performance? I'm going to read a few of your comments out. I think there's a couple of super chats. I'll read these out, and then we'll move on. We've got Ant, saying, "Look, hold my hands up. Amrabat was great. He was everything that we could possibly have asked for in a debut where he started left back. And did you see his positional discipline? Again, you're talking about Ten Hag's system. The tactics are a little bit harder to understand than the identity, but the tactics, simply put, when United go forward, one of the fullbacks typically inverts and becomes an extra central midfielder. And Amrabat just did that without being asked to yesterday. Did it straight away. So good from him. So composed from him. Made a big difference. Jordan, you're saying Martial was decent. Maguire was good for once. Both of those I'm going to be speaking about a little bit later in the show. I did see those photos. I didn't know whether it was actually Andrew Tate or something. Man, that's an unfortunate comparison, those. Amrabat completed more passes in that first half than McTominay managed all season. I mean, Amrabat exposed last night the deficiencies of Scott McTominay. Because Scott McTominay is not a midfielder who shows himself for the ball. You know how I've been banging on about how Onana really is a transformative signing. I think I was slightly unfair because it was a 50-50. It's Onana and Amrabat together are going to be the transformative signing. And I'm not sure if you watched it yesterday, but I saw it as well. Did you see Amrabat just running deep, cutting into space, and making himself available for Onana for the pass? It's just not something calm midfielders have done this year. They just haven't. Casemiro and McTominay, their natural instinct is to come up the pitch a little bit and not really drop deep for that ball. Amrabat was the ball carrier and the tempo setter. And that is what this team has missed. A midfield is all about balance, man. There's no point having 3 world-class midfielders if you've not got 3 world-class attacking midfielders in a midfield is not a balanced midfield. 3 world-class defensive midfielders in a midfield is not a balanced midfield. A midfield with a player like Amrabat, a player like Casemiro, and a player like Bruno all together, that's a balanced midfield. Everybody doing slightly different roles. Lots and lots of you are trying to troll me down here, and I'm not going to nibble on the fact that Palace had a weakened team. You beat what's in front of you after what Manchester United have been going through these last few weeks. To do that against Burnley, necessary. To do that against Palace, really positive. And now we need to build on that with the game against Palace at the weekend. Now, Casiemiro. Did anybody have Casiemiro down as our top scorer this season? Anybody? No. No, I didn't either. I think that's his 4th goal this season. I think that's his 4th goal. He's got like 18 goal contributions in like 58 games. Casiemiro, I don't know. I just get the feeling that Casiemiro is, now that he's left Real Madrid, he is so done with being the piano carrier. He just wants to be the piano player. He wants to be the guy with the electric guitar. He wants to be the lead vocalist. He's so, I think he, in his head, like from a tactical perspective, he's done his dues of not being in the spotlight. He goes, it is about time I take the spotlight. And he's kind of acted like that. And it's not really helped United because he's been that sort of, he's tried to be the box-to-box midfielder, but he hasn't had the energy to go back. That's why this changes a lot. And this is about balance, pure balance in midfield. Because when United will set up now, it will be Amrabat will be the deepest of the midfielders. Casemiro will sit slightly in front of him, and Bruno will sit slightly in front of him. That will be the midfield trio. And that will free Casemiro up to do what Casemiro is doing well this season. He is helping United going forward. Some of his passing yesterday, he was trying to go toe-to-toe with Amrabat with the diagonals. But because we've now got Amrabat, Amrabat's going to be the guy that does the dirty work. All right? When we lose the ball in attack, when Casemiro loses possession and he's lunging back, it now won't leave a 30-yard gap in behind because Amrabat will be there doing the dirty work. He'll be there cleaning up. He'll be the sweeper. He'll be the bouncer. Whatever you want to call him, that is what Amrabat is going to do for Casemiro and why I hopefully think from this point onwards, I think that could really, really work, man. It just feels like Casemiro, I don't know, it feels like he's enjoying. I'm going to read a few of your comments out down here. What do you make of it? But it feels like Casemiro just, he wants to be going forward. He wants to be more aggressive. He feels like he's kind of a little bit done with being the number 6, just being the dominant, powerful number 6. That's kind of what it feels like. Oh, wow, man, look at that. Rego, Aaron, and Klein all together. Rego's gifted 10 memberships. Aaron's gifted 5, and Klein's gifted 5. I might have to join in. I think I have to join in. Oh, no, that's the wrong thing. Oh, God. What have I done here? Trying to send some memberships. Let me do it. It's going to be 5 from me as well. Big up to all of you. And then I'll whip out. We'll do a big gong for everyone together. I'll be hitting the gong all day. Cheers! Oh, wow, that was a bit loud. That was a bit loud. Big up to everybody. Can I just please say, everybody, come across the Discord. There is so many of you that aren't coming into Discord, and it's really frustrating me because it's so good. Right? I'm enjoying in. Now I'm going to read a few of your comments out on these bad boys. Let's have a look. Jonathan, I want him in front of the back 4, protecting and patrolling there on Saturday. Palace will be a different proposition in the league. Like, dude, I know that Palace played a weakened team, but did anybody watch Crystal Palace against Fulham at the weekend? Did you? Because my word, they were bang average. Like really badly. And they were at home against Fulham. Like you can tell me that Crystal Palace are going to, I know they will be slightly better, sure. But Palace were not good. And Man United played a weakened team. We made 7 changes. I'm just looking forward to seeing these. Jonathan, you said, mate, it was a properly shocking game. It was the most nil-nils of nil-nil. It was a bad game of football. And that was Palace. At home against Fulham. Now, as I said, there's lots and lots of positives to take from that game yesterday. And there's still more that I want to speak about down here. Everyone's asking for the Discord link. I've quite literally just left the link there. I'll do it one more time. Please keep your eyes peeled. It is literally right there. I've just posted the link. So I don't want to do it again. Right. There's a couple of super chats here. Let me read these bad boys out. Jordan, what are you saying? What we've been missing for a long time might be wrong to say, but he's our next Carrick. Michael Carrick was a player who I've called them like the recyclers of possession. Somebody who's going to have, 78 out of 81 passes completed, 92 touches on the ball, constantly making himself available and constantly keeping the ball moving. Possession recycling. Because by doing that, stretching it left to right, you pull the defense out of organization. You're likely going to get spaces in behind simply by just keeping the ball moving left to right, left to right. At some point, the defense is going to make a mistake. If they don't, they're world class. It's very difficult. But yeah, I hope he can be. I mean, I don't like doing that personally. Oh, he can be the next. He'll be the first Amrabat, and that's exactly what this team needs. We don't need another. We need an Amrabat. What he did there, we need that all season long. Nick is saying, haven't joined the Discord yet. I'm rarely able to catch a stream now. Nick, nice to see you there, man. It's a shame you can't join in, but big up to you. You've been here for a long, long time. Thank you very much, man. What are we saying down here? I'm thinking more of a Keane getting in the trenches. And man, he's just going to be the first Sofyan Amrabat, and that's all we need. I don't like saying that about comparing to other players. I think it's not lazy, but that right there is what we need. All right. Now, tell you what, I didn't realize that that was Garnacho's first goal of the season. Maybe I did. I just hadn't taken notice of it. Garnacho last night, all front 3 players changed. Garnacho, Martial, and Pelistri. And this is what I said in my match reaction, by the way. Man United made 7 changes yesterday. Right? There's a lot of changes. Yet we still had Varane in there, Casemiro in there, Garnacho in there, Martial in there, Pelistri in there, Amrabat in there, Dalot in there. It was a strong team. So it goes to show you that this season, we do have a better squad. Now, injuries have really blighted us. Okay, we have Mason Mount in there, of course, as well. Injuries have blighted us this season so far. If we can cut, and we didn't go through that period perfectly, did we? Exactly. We lost to Brighton. We lost to Arsenal. We lost to Bayern Munich. We're hopefully coming out the other side of it now when the squad is really going to get stronger. And it'll make a big difference. And Garnacho, he's first goal of the season. Really kind of a different goal to what Garnacho's scored so far for United. A lot of Garnacho's goals have come down the left, skipping past his man, really fast. A lot of transition plays, some great shots from the outside of the box as well. Yesterday from Garnacho, it was just a really really smartly timed run across his defender and a right foot finish from like near the penalty spot, straight in the goal. Well, deflection off the defender, but it was a really good attacking position that he took up, and he got on the cross from Dalot, who played fantastic, by the way. Garnacho needs to be making more runs like that. I think that's a little bit of him learning the game and learning the positions. But just everybody to a man, including Garnacho, the work rate was there for the full 90 minutes, man. The full 90 minutes. And the reason why it was there, okay, and this is a big reason why we've not been able to do this in hardly any games so far, is because United just held possession. Instead of United running around like headless chickens and chasing the ball more often than not in the game, we had so much possession of the game that even in like the 70th or 80th minute when we needed to track back, we had the energy to do it. That's what happens when you control a game of football. It means that your legs will have those sprints in them later in the game. It's just something that we haven't had. Right? Erik ten Hag said this about Garnacho after the game. It's completely normal for him, for a player of his age, to have a lot of room for improvement. Everyone loves him. The fans love him. The teams love him. I loves him. I loves him. But we also have to be demanding with him and push him. And I think that goal yesterday from Garnacho was the sort of goal that he probably wouldn't have scored maybe 12 months ago. I think that showed a little bit of development in his game. And you're saying Garner's maturing fast. I think that goal was a real indication of that maturity. I think it was a really, really good performance from him. And look, on the other wing, little bromance there between Pellistri and Garnacho. Pellistri looks... I think there was a point towards the end of the game where Pellistri, like, there was a couple of Palace players around him right on the byline. He kind of turned and then just like carried the ball 20, 30 yards forward. Really, really good from him. Pellistri offered loads yesterday, apart from the final product. Pretty much every time he got to the final product, Pellistri didn't deliver. Whether it's a final pass, final run into the box, he didn't have that cutting edge. He had the work rate, he had the enthusiasm, he had all of that. Yeah, sure. But the final product wasn't quite there. But it was an impressive performance from Pellistri. And again, from a hard work perspective, all three of those there, Garnacho, Mount, and Pellistri, they really grafted that game. Mate, there might be certain teams in football that can get away with it in a world-class style, but not really, in my opinion. And certainly not in Erik ten Hag's. Like, the hard work is the foundation for it. It really, really is the foundation for it. And yesterday, we worked hard when we needed to work hard, and we worked smart when we needed to work smart. That's something that we haven't done this season. This season, we've kind of been at a million miles an hour, even when we've been doing well, like Spurs away. That was a million miles an hour, and the clinical finishing wasn't there. But Pellistri, I thought he played well. Jonathan, you're talking about him looking raw. Yeah, he definitely looks raw. You could see that there yesterday. The final product wasn't there, but the hard work, the graft, the positional discipline, the teamwork, the ethic, the attitude, there's a lot of positives to take from Pellistri's performance yesterday. Mason Mount, by the way, coming back in and played 45 minutes. Erik ten Hag confirmed, by the way. Oh, wrong button. Erik ten Hag confirmed that he was coming off at halftime every single game. Every single game. He was coming off at halftime. That was pre-planned. It's hot in here. Where's my fan? Why is it the remotes don't work? And then you bash them. And then they work. Don't understand it. Still works. Anyway, Mason Mount. I thought he looked pretty good. Obviously got the assist for Casemiro's goal from the corner. But I think just overall, Mason Mount looked... positionally, he looked really, really good. And I know that there are people, there they are straight away. Oh, Mason Mount's a crap player. Oh, Mason Mount, well, always 6 million. Oh, this, oh, that. Mason Mount is a very good footballer. Has Mason Mount had a poor start to the season? Oh, yep. Has Manchester United had a poor start to the season? Yep. Does that mean United are abysmal and that Mount is a crap player? No, it doesn't. That there was a really good 45 minutes for Mason Mount. Just coming back from injury, but he looked really sharp. The work ethic was there. The position was there. He was available. Again, that's a big important part. Just the movement of our front five has to constantly be there. Always finding space in between players. Dropping in between the lines. Really good performance, I think, from Mason Mount. Let me go down there and see what you're saying. Diego Mount found some nice passes. Pellistri should have scored one. Let's have a look down here. Mount looked bright, says the general. Someone's mentioned about Hannibal looking like a red car walking. But again, Hannibal held it together. Mason Mount suits this team for Ten Hag. It's exactly why I bought him, man. He is a pressing monster in and out of possession. You can't really be a pressing monster in possession. Out of possession, he's a pressing monster. He suits the transition team that Ten Hag is wanting to build. And I think his influence on this team will grow, will continue to grow. And I'll be honest, do not be surprised if you see Mason Mount starting on the right wing for Manchester United against Crystal Palace at the weekend. All right? Don't be offended. Don't be surprised. Because I can really see it happening. Especially if you've got Amrabat, Casemiro, and Bruno in the middle. Anthony, of course, we don't know when he's going to be coming back. I personally think you're more likely to see Mount on the right wing starting than Pellistri. And Pellistri would be a good player to come on as well. But yeah, I thought it was a pretty impressive performance from him, and I think he can be happy. And someone's on it. Ben, you're saying, why would Mason Mount start on the right wing? Dude, like, quite a lot of Mason Mount's best performances actually came on the right wing for Chelsea. This guy creates a lot when he's on form. A lot. Like, people are talking about Mason Mount like he's like a bang average footballer who doesn't do anything. It's just not true. It's just not true. Like, I don't know what you want. I certainly don't want to see Bruno Fernandes out in the right wing. That's for sure. Mason Mount has played right wing so much at Chelsea. It's like people don't watch football. I don't get it. I really don't. Oh, yeah, Mason Mount. I'll move on from Mason Mount. Right. Martial. Are you allowing yourself to get sucked in? Are you going, that's it, Martial's back again? Or is it just going to be the same old? I really, really hope that he proves me completely wrong. And I'll say the same thing about Harry Maguire when I speak next. Martial has looked very good in these two games. Right? Against Bayern Munich, when he came on, he looked like world class. The movement and the touches with his feet. And yesterday, it was a really, really good goal. The pass from Casiemiro, the run from Martial to the back post, and the finish on the half. Was it on the half volley? Side foot into the reverse, into the opposite side netting. Really good goal. I'm hoping. I can't do anything apart from just hope with Martial. I'm not going to let myself get sucked back in. Højlund will be starting at the weekend, no doubt. But it's, at the very least, it's good to see Martial scoring a goal, right? I don't think anybody is, let's be completely frank here. I don't think anybody really has ever questioned Martial's natural ability. That was the player that got us off our seats in that Van Gaal season. We know full well that the ability is there. It's just that the application hasn't always been there, and the fitness the fitness just has not been there. I'd be surprised if Martial proves us all wrong at this stage, but I hope he does. I really hope he does. Because if he does, then we've got a player on our hands. Look, I have to say, yesterday, the youth players were a definite big positive, weren't they? Real positive. Bear in mind that we've got Kobbie Mainoo coming back as well, by the way, who may well be more highly rated than any of these players in Erik Ten Hag's eyes. Dangor is his 19th birthday. Dangor looks about 12, by the way. Dangor on his 19th birthday came off the bench for 30 minutes, by the way, against Crystal Palace. It wasn't a 3-minute performance at the end of the game. It was United being 3-0 up at home in the League Cup against Crystal Palace. That's the environment where you can bring a player on for 30 minutes, a youth team player, and actually let them play ball. Actually let them experience nearly a full half of football. Dangor, if you've ever watched the youth teams at United, he is an all-round midfielder. He's very much in the same sort of mold as Amrabat in terms of his actual aggression. He might be small. I'm not sure if you saw it yesterday. There was a point where he was like tussling with Rob Holding, who's about 9 feet taller than him. Just elbowed him off the ball. Just pushed him off the ball. Dangor can put himself about. And I'm looking forward to seeing him this season. I had him in my starting 11 yesterday, which was a bit keen. I said it, didn't I? I got the back five completely right last night. I got the Amrabat I had down as right back instead of left back, so it wasn't 100% right, but I got the back five right, and I got the front three right, and I got the midfield completely wrong. I thought Casiemiro would be rested. I thought Dangor might start. Did I get Hannibal in there? I don't know. I thought Bruno would be starting. But look, got the midfield completely wrong. Dan Gore is definitely one to watch. He really, really is. Like physically, he's a lot stronger than he looks. And the style of playing, the profile of Dan Gore is a profile that can help this Manchester United team this season. He really can. So having Gore, Hannibal, and Mainu coming through has really added something into our midfield. And there's something that Ten Hag said after the game yesterday, which, like you said, it's a good birthday for him. But I'm not a coach who gives opportunities to players for no reason. They have to earn it. Once they earn it, they have their chance, but they have to earn it every day in training. And he said this, he goes, look, we have many young players on the pitch and you see they're progressing. With me, you don't just get the opportunity, you have to earn it. Hannibal, Garnacho, Pellistri, Dan Gore, they deserve it. And they have to show it every day in training. And this is something that I really, really like from Erik ten Hag. Because I think United fans, when our backs are against the wall, I did get the keeper wrong. Captain K, I did get the keeper wrong. But I'll tell you what, Anana made a couple of decent saves, but hardly was called upon. But when he was called upon, he did well. When it comes to youth players, as United fans, when things are going wrong, a lot of us default to the position of sod the senior players, just play the youth. It probably happens in most clubs, really. Sod the senior players, can't be asked of them anymore. Throw the youth in. And then we've seen what's happened with the youth over the last few years. Louis van Gaal, he must have given like 460 debuts that season. It was Cameron Borthwick-Jackson. It was Donald Love. It was Paddy McNair. I don't know who else it was. I don't want to think about it. So many. Erik ten Hag has taken a different approach to youth players. Emeran was sold in the summer. Iqbal was sold in the summer. Ethan Laird was sold in the summer. Charlie Savage, Bjorn Hardley. 5 or 6 of them were sold in the summer. Now, I think we massively undersold them in terms of value, but that's not down to Erik ten Hag. What ten Hag is doing is taking a different approach to these youth team players. He wants to bring the youth through, but he will only put those players in if they deserve their chance. He's going for quality over quantity. And I would much rather have 2 or 3 really successful academy players than 10 average ones who end up playing for Norwich or Hull within 2 years. That's the difference that Ten Hag is making. And last night that's when we should be able to introduce youth team players. 30 minutes to go, 3-0 up at Old Trafford with senior players around him. That's the environment a young player can shine. Not an environment where everything's going wrong. Oh my God, we need something to happen. Geez, throw a youth team player in. That's a default position by a lot of United fans. But Ten Hag, I really, really agree with what he's doing and his approach here. He's handling these youth players exactly how I want him to. And I'm not surprised because he did that at Ajax. He knows how to bring through youth team players. He's had a whole career of it. I think he knows a little bit more than most of us, / all of us, when it comes to that. I could see down here. Oh, geez, I did. Yeah. Chris, my man. I missed. Geez. The man. Isn't it nice to be genuinely positive? To have a genuine reason. Alex and Gungshi and Chris, I think it was you over there. You gifted 5 memberships, but Alex and Gungshi, you just gifted 10, man. There's one for you. There's one for you. What was the score last night? 3-0. Yeah, you're damn right. It's nice to be positive. Really is. Because I tell you what, it has been a struggle. It has been a struggle these last few weeks. But even Hannibal yesterday. Again, I say even Hannibal. He was probably man of the match against Burnley. And I think again there yesterday. And again, when it talks about maturity, I spoke about how Garnacho's goal that he scored yesterday was a sign of development, in my opinion. The run that he made into the box, scoring that sort of goal is not really the typical Garnacho goal. That's development. Hannibal Last couple of games, real development, real maturity. He got an early yellow card there yesterday, and I'm thinking, I think I know what's going to happen here with Hannibal. And he didn't. Hannibal, there was a couple of like tackles, but he stayed on the pitch and he drove for the full 90. Ten Hag looks at Hannibal and he's like, man, this guy is exactly what I want from a youth team player. Hannibal's doing exactly what Ten Hag wants him to do. I think Dan Gore would really have impressed Ten Hag yesterday with his performance. Pellistri, Garnacho, Mainu when he comes back. We won the FA Youth Cup at the right time, tell you that. How you doing, Michael? Nice to see you here this morning. Nice to see you there getting involved in a conversation, my man. What else are you all saying down here? Let's have a look. Chris, you're saying Garnacho, Hannibal, the stars in the making. Glad we're finally developing young talent. Yeah, he didn't play. Okay, he didn't play the full 90, but Hannibal was a hothead in our academy teams, and I've always worried about what happens when it comes through into the first team. I think these last couple of games, I think he's really, really matured and done well. And look, Diogo Dalot, it's probably not going to be a player that many people speak about from that game yesterday, but my God, he was absolutely spot on. Not just with the assist for Garnacho's goal, but just defensively, aggressive when he needed to be, good, patient build-up play, always making himself available. It was a very good performance defensively and in aiding the attack as well from Diogo Dalot. I think everybody's going to be speaking about Amrabat's performance at left back rather than Dalot. But given that Wan-Bissaka's gone out for a few months and we were worried about what's going to happen in that position, Dalot has done very, very well. And somebody who did well yesterday and absolutely deserves praise is Harry Maguire. All right? I've said it all along. I said, you know what the best case scenario is for United? Harry Maguire turns into a decent footballer again for the next at least 3 or 4 months. That is what will benefit Manchester United, right? Not Harry Maguire sitting on the bench or Harry Maguire in a similar situation to what's going on with Jadon Sancho. Maguire yesterday, and you know why Maguire played well? Crystal Palace sat off us a lot, but we just had a lot of possession, man. We just had a lot of control of the game. And when you play in that sort of system where you do have a lot of control of the game, where you're not just defending 24/7, you'll get more from Harry Maguire. You will. Very simple. That's why this man is key. Amrabat is key to everything that Ten Hag wants this team to be that it currently isn't. Now, if we played against a team that was pressing a lot harder, City or Liverpool, Maguire is going to be significantly less comfortable there. Amrabat will help in those situations too. It's just, yeah, man. You have to praise players where they need praising and deserve praising. And I think Maguire yesterday, in a more comfortable environment and with Amrabat alongside him, looked more comfortable. And Erik ten Hag's just got to be looking at that game and going, yeah, good. That's what I mean. I can't remember the last time we've been able to be overwhelmingly positive. We've always been able to pick out positives here or there, but then at the same time, you can look somewhere else and go, well, that's still a problem. Yesterday was just exactly what it needed to be. 7 changes in the team, League Cup game. This isn't a game where United should be chasing anything. This should be a game where United just control it at home, at Old Trafford. First 20 minutes, just passing it around. Boom. Goal with the first chance. Forced Crystal Palace to come out a bit. Spaces were created. We kept going. We got the second. 2-0 up. Cruise control. We get the third. Crystal Palace have no response. We don't therefore need to chase anything. Let's make some subs. Let's bring on a youth team player. Let's bring on another youth team player. Let's take off another player. Mason Mount, off you come. It was an ideal game. Perfect to a game plan of what Ten Hag wanted from that performance yesterday. Now I'm going to go down there and read a few of your comments. Paula, was Varane captain last night? Yeah, he was. Pretty sure he was. Alex saying the big question is how many of that starting 11 start again on Saturday? Good question. I'll fire it over to you. Type it in the comments. What players that played there against Crystal Palace do you think should be starting on Saturday? Let's go through them. Varane's, Onana, obviously. Varane's got to start. Delow's got to start. Amrabat's got to start. Amrabat's probably going to play left back again when you think about it. Casemiro's got to start. Who else would I start? I don't know if Mason Mount's going to be fit enough to start. If I'm being honest. If he is, he probably does start. Garnacho played well, but I imagine Rashford comes back in. And I suppose that game that people, again, I don't understand people, right? Instead of this is the angle that some individuals take. I'm not saying anyone specifically in these comments, but I'm sure there's some of you. Instead of saying, look how good Garnacho played and praising him, it's, well, Marcus Rashford, that's what you should be doing. Kick him out of the team. Let's get Garnacho in. And it's just like, how do you possibly just turn a good situation into something that's like vitriolic? It's weird. I'll never understand that mindset. I'll be totally honest. I'll never understand getting yourself into that mindset. But Garnacho, do I think he'll start over Rashford at the weekend? No. Do I think that performance there will be used as a bit of an example? Rashford showed he can press, by the way. Go and rewatch Arsenal. And you'll see Rashford coming and doubling up. He can do it. Lindelof will start alongside Varane, Delow, and Amrabat. I imagine we probably will be seeing Amrabat in at fullback. Let's have a look. And you're saying you think there's going to be all of them? He'll make a mockery on that if he change. Dude, it's a League Cup. He won't make a mockery of that. Yeah, that's a really strange thing to say. He won't make a mockery of that whatsoever. He made 7 changes and the team delivered. It's the Premier League. It's different rules in the Premier League. He will not be making a mockery of that. But I think quite a lot of them will keep their place, as they should. But Højlund will definitely be coming in. Does that make a mockery of it? No, it doesn't. Right wing, I'm not sure about that. I personally think that Mason Mount will start there, depending on his fitness-wise. There'll be a few changes, but look, it's good to see a Manchester United team. Proper collective performance there from the team, right? Really, really was. That's what we needed to see. That right there is your Ten Hag identity. Controlled, patient, build-up, play, and possession. Taking your chance in the 20th minute, nice and early, control the game from that, right? That's what's going to happen. I can't wait to see it, hopefully, across the course of a season now. It's up to these players now to build on it. Burnley was what it needed to be. Crystal Palace was what it needed to be. Saturday needs to be the next step on that ladder. So for me, the next step on that ladder is a very similar performance, but we do it in the Premier League. That's the next step up on that ladder. If United go out there and cruise control and win 3-0 against Palace in the Premier League on Saturday, yes, please. That's what I think the next step is. But it's just good to see, as I said, overwhelming positiveness. And today, you're getting treated, by the way. Today, we're absolute double whammy special. Hopefully by 12 p.m. today, I'm going to do my 5 things we learned from the game last night against Palace. So many of you seem to be enjoying them. I've done 3 now. I used to do them. I've done them for a long time in short form, but I'm going to do it in longer form now. And there's so many things that we can speak about. That'll be my lunchtime video. And then also at 6 p.m. tonight as an extra video, I've got a full tactical analysis of Amrabat's debut and what it really, really tells us about going forward. It's going to be a good day for content here on United People's TV. So if you are new, you want to subscribe, you'll get them. It's all free. Make sure you drop a like on the video. And can I just say thank you to the best and most generous community in the world. I tell you what, time frame wise, this bad boy is first up. It's been delayed by about 10 days because I've been waiting for delivery of some stuff. That should be coming very soon. Then this is getting completely rebuilt. And once this gets rebuilt, it's going to look amazing. I can't wait for it. And then once that is done, the software finally gets done. I know. I promise it's coming. Thank you for being patient with me. Best community in the world. That's the best result and performance of the season. It was only the League Cup, though. Got to do it in the Premier League on Saturday. Big up to all of you. And big up to United. Just more of that, please.